Pledge the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, need to call this council meeting to order, and first thing on the agenda, we'll turn it over to Alan, and he can go over these resolutions for tax abatements.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, council members, I have two projects to bring to the council this morning for review, requesting tax abatements. It's going in alphabetical order. First project involves Warner Electric. Warner Electric, a longtime employer here in Whitley County, is pursuing a project to lease the former USSI building in Park 30 Business Center. I'll let John Meckerline talk about specifics of the project, but the abatement requests for the 2-year vacant building tax abatement that provides relief on current property taxes for a building that's been vacant at least 12 months. In this case, we think the building's been empty about 18 months. And so working with the state of Indiana on local and state incentives to support the retention of the jobs in the community, as well as hopefully some future job creation and expansion. And thought this would be the appropriate tool to bring from our toolbox to support, provide local support for the project. So, John, a word or two about.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Warner Electric has been here for quite a long time. Actually, we started in 1963, and I won't go into all the history of that, but a few years back, we consolidated our operations in South Beloit, Illinois into Columbia City. And at that time, we were looking at potential the Autolute building, which was vacant at the time, but that didn't work out, and we ended up with basically 3 facilities here in this area, one on Short Street, one on Swihart, and we used a warehouse during the busy season to store finished goods. This was a really inefficient operation, and there were a few other operations we were going to move down here, but we're unable to because we didn't have the space. And so we had to leave some of those operations still in Illinois. This project is to put us all under one roof and squeeze it in so we can find the space to bring in the additional business in South Beloit that we failed to bring down before. So that's really the goal of this project, to get us under one roof so we can grow the business, which we can in the existing environment, and consolidate further operations within the ultra industrial motion business. That's the crux of it. Do you have any specific questions that I can answer?
What resolution number is it?
Further backwards now, 2013.
If
There's
At that time when you consolidate everything underneath this one roof, how many more jobs are you going to be creating, do you think?
For just the consolidation should not create any new jobs, but it should give us the opportunity to bring down the additional business probably by the end of 2014 is our goal. And that would bring down another 10 to 20 jobs depending on how much of that business we can bring down. Also, this building gives us an opportunity. If you're familiar with the building, there's a top floor that have a lot of office spaces, very nice office spaces. And when we consolidated this, we left all our engineers, design group, and everything in South Beloit because they just didn't feel we had the facility to accommodate them. We may now have that facility, and that would be an additional 25 to 30, but these are engineers, design people, which are quite a bit different than what we normally bring in. That could possibly happen in 2015, but that we can't commit to at this time because it's hard to bring people right now to Columbia City from another area because they're just not interested in moving unless they're going to someplace like a Boston. You know how that works with engineers and professional type, but we will have the facility that's pretty accommodating for that kind of environment. So there's potential there.
Is that building as it stands enough square feet to accommodate all this?
Yep. Yeah. Now we do have an option to expand that too. I can go up to 30,000 square feet further south. So that is still on the table. We didn't want to pull the trigger at this time because we just weren't sure how much space we need. We hope with all the lean tools that we're using that we can take this and it's much higher ceilings, it's a much uniform square building as opposed to our current facility, which is kind of pieced together. should be able to squeeze everything in, have plenty of room for expansion without adding square footage. That's the objective.
So you would not be using the existing building at your up-distance to go?
Right. Actually, there would be two facilities we would not be using. The one on Short Street, which we own, and the one on Swire, which we currently lease.
Any other questions at this time?
The redevelopment commission reviewed this and recommends its passage to council. And in that light, I'll move that we approve the resolution. I'll second.
Thank you.
Further discussion? If not, all in favor of the resolution, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same? Okay, it's passed.
All right. I do want to just take a minute and thank John. John Neckerline is a controller with Warner here in Columbus City. We've been working together, how long has it been here? 5.5 years? But we've been working on this project for at least 3 or 4 years. And so the amount of patience and commitment that John's dedicated or demonstrated, it's really, it speaks well to his perspective on running business here in the community and the dedication I think that a lot of the team members at Warner have for this area. I think of people like Dan Heisey and Joel Hallett, guys that really do want to see the business grow here. So Margie Keller's here also for Region 3A if we do have questions about the abatements, specifics of the abatements. So thank you, Margie. Our next project involves Whitley RC Investments. Drew Wellborn's here on behalf of the group. This is the spec building project that Redevelopment Commission has been working on for a number of months, supporting a private developer, putting up a spec building in Rail Connect Business Park. Plan is to move forward with a 75,000 square foot expandable spec building that would be expandable to 190,000 square feet. Meets a very important gap in what's available currently, not only in Whitley County, but in Northeast Indiana. We're seeing even vacant buildings here in the area coming off the market. And so we do have quite a few demands or requests from the regional partnership or from leads that come through the state of Indiana through the IEDC. 4 buildings and for newer construction with larger expandable buildings, rail access, higher ceilings. And so Whitley RC Investments, Simon Dragan and Joe D'Italia are requesting a tax statement on the spec building project. And really this is I think the last step in the due diligence before they kick off the project and get underway this fall. So, Drew, what did I miss?
Not much. Simon and Joe were unable to attend today, but they're both really excited about the project and wanted to thank the Redevelopment Commission and Alan. It's been kind of a long process and to get all the terms and conditions down, but wanted to thank the Commission and Alan during this process. Thank you.
Are there other shareholders besides those two, or is that?
Joe D'Italia is a representative of Harbor Investments. Harbor Investments is I don't know if you are acquainted with a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust, and it's a Fort Wayne-based REIT. They probably own 10 or 15 different buildings throughout the Midwest, a lot of build to suit leasebacks, or they'll go to a company that is existing in a building, buy the building and lease back to them. Harbor Investments has been around in some form. There have been 2 or 3 different funds for about 20 years. So Joe D'Italia, which runs that, is very experienced in land development. Simon Dragan, who owns Whitley Manufacturing in South Whitley, is not only a member of Harbor Investments, but was so excited about this project, is investing along with Harbor Investments. So he's a significant minority shareholder. He's investing through a special purpose entity. So his name won't show up on anything, but he is a significant investor. I'm trying to think if there are any significant Whitley County investors through Harbor. I can't remember. There might, I think, well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Because there have been different funds, but I think there's a significant investor out of Cherubusco as well.
If this wouldn't be passed, would that create a problem?
I think it would because, part of marketing a spec building is that we want to try to attract in business, and we don't have the abatement on the building, and saying that there's not interest in having an abatement, might create a question mark for someone coming to the community. Now, we can show a track record that, community always supported companies however we can, but I think it's important in our marketing as well as the timing. Our understanding is working on the abatement request that we do have to have this in before construction starts, so we've missed that opportunity.
Well, the reason why I'm asking you, Alan, I've always supported, EDC and everything else, but it seems like this is kind of after the fact. I mean, I seen it on TV already this morning that it was going up, so.
It was in this morning's paper.
So it looks to me like you should bring this before us, before it gets to that point.
Right.
I just wondered if there was a reason, or that's just the way it went down.
Well, they were supposed to hold the public discussion of it until after council had a chance to review this, but I didn't know about the TV coverage this morning. Missed that one.
And a technical issue is, we have an agreement with the redevelopment commission, meaning the entity, and I think that's one of the conditions is to get tax abatement. So it would be possible for the development group to kick out of the agreement.
Yeah, it is, that's the way it's set up. We were, the redevelopment commission has met numerous times with Joe and Drew and other people from Harbor. And we think that it's a good possibility, a good thing for Whitley County. That we should attract a pretty good employer back there, because it's what they're building is not available in place. In fact, there's another article in this morning's paper about Whitley County, and it's been $6 million to put infrastructure in a 120-acre park they got that's bare. They're spending more money just to put the infrastructure in than we have in the whole thing, buying it and all, but I think it's good. We've got rail, they don't. I think it's a very good thing for Whitley County. And in that same vein, again, I'll recommend that we approve this resolution.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or discussion? I have one, Alan. If we approve this, and then this spec building gets built, and then it has a buyer down the road in whatever, whether it's 6 months, a year, or what, then how do we handle the abatements for the new owner? Does this abatement go with them, or do we have to do a new one?
There's a possibility we'd have to look at an additional abatement above this one, because this may not capture all the assessed value of the finished building, especially if you expand it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that's correct.
And then you could always come back and they could ask you to transfer it to a different entity, a different taxpayer, if someone does end up buying it. But they'd have some expense involved, and we work with Region 3A to prepare the right documents to make that switch.
Well, I guess I don't have a problem with that, but would it be an additional abatement or a new one, and this one will go away if it has a new owner?
If the building sells, my understanding is you'd want to transfer this abatement and then add a second for if you expand the building or do anything further. Or you could, we could work through it.
Yeah, whatever was added to the value, it would be
But the first abatement, how many years you guys signed today, if it's $1 million building and you put it on for 10 years, that $1 million is gonna run through the 10-year thing. If 2 years down the road, someone comes in and finishes and adds or increases the value, just that small amount, if it's $1,200,000 or something, all you're gonna abate again is the increase that they're gonna be at the completion of the building, and not starting over with the original building.
Yeah, I understand.
And go, yeah.
And to finish it, it could be very easily be another $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this building.
Just a shell.
Yeah, a shell.
What was the
Okay,
year?
thank you.
How many years did you want an abatement?
The request, coming through Region 3A for 10 years.
It's not on there, that's all.
All right, we have a motion second on the floor. Any other questions or discussions this time? If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Very good.
Thank you.
There was a third project we planned to bring to council this morning involving a company called Sound Ideas. Owner asked that we hold off until next month so he can finalize some logistics as far as the project he's considering. So I'd like to bring that back to the September meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.